Oh, you hear that? I'm too old for that. I sure hope you heard any of that audio. Otherwise, that's super awkward. Okay, yeah, no, you hear that. Hi, everyone. Weird. Excuse me. Get out of here. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, it's a Tuesday stream at noon. Well, noon my time. What a weird time, but I was just asked if I could do a stream discussing something that just happened, and I was like, you know what? I have a just right now is exactly when I have some free time. Yes, and I didn't give you guys a stream on Friday because I was a busy boy. I was meeting some really cool people for a military event, and maybe someday I'll even tell you about it. The Discord knows. No, I'm not showing the Discord link. But with that out of the way, that's just a brief little introduction. Disclaimers. First 10 minutes, that's going to be me rambling, especially since this is an unannounced stream for the most part. I give you, like 10 minutes notice at best. So, yeah, the first 10 minutes of the stream, I'm just going to be saying hi to people. If you're watching this after the fact, feel free to skip forward to after 10 minutes. That's when things will actually, hopefully, start. After that 10-minute mark, though, I will be doing a lot more rambling. So, if that's not for you, it's not for you. It's for the people that watch these streams for who knows why. Other disclaimer before I forget, I'm not a lawyer. We will be going over a case filing. I am not. That is outside of my realm of experience. I will be reviewing it to the best of my ability, but nothing I say here should be considered factual or legal advice in any way. Also, I may be misremembering the things, the events that this lawsuit is pertaining to. So don't think that any statements here, even if it's not legal advice, are factual. It's just consider it an opinion, but it may be helpful if you decide to review the individual pieces of what we are discussing on your own. Also, Tyler Bell, thanks for being a member. Hello. And hi to everyone else. What are my other disclaimers? Oh, yeah, if you're like, this is boring, you don't have to watch it, but you can skip forward. If I'm going too fast, you can slow it down. There are, you have the ability to do that, or speed it up if you're like, man, he's going too slowly. I'm not going to be drinking any apple juice this stream, so, and no For Loco, it's a Tuesday at noon. That'd be crazy talk. So I feel like that covers everything. What just happened? Who was that? Oh, that's Utah. Got it. Oh, it's over there. It doesn't exist. It's not real. So I have to pretend. Oh, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I'm just very excited right now. Hi, everyone. Let me give you a little bit of. Let's do some hello music. Jedi Harper says, midday bacon. Put on the smoking jacket. Oh, it's too far away. It is tempting, though. And what else we got? Oh, all the good people. All the best ones are here. That's why you are early-ish. But yes. Judy, not a lawyer. No, I'm not. James K, correct. No For Loco, no juice. Sally, I just be reviewing a case that was relevant to a stream I did the last time I did the stream, I believe. And if you remember the last stream I did, a certain individual who is not legally allowed to send me any messages sent me several messages. And I took appropriate action in the sense that I filed a police report. Will anything happen? I don't know. But it would be a shame to have this protection order against that individual and not use it when appropriate. Am I right? Anyway. Dose Hey Castro. Thank you. Says, Chili got a boo-boo during his arrest. Had to sue. Your words, not mine. There are things I want to say, but I shouldn't. Because I'm considering engaging in further legal action, and I would like to be cautious pursuant to that plan. If we know what I was talking about. Matt Bond, hello, thank you so much. Matt Bond says, hey, Soup, how's it hanging? Oh, just Just doing my thing. Putting a little more work into the civilian side of things. Sort of backing away from the tubes. You know? Sure. Yeah, you know. Not much to talk about, really. Nothing exciting. Do I have on pants? I do, but they are, yeah, they're comfy pants. That's what they are. Yeah, that's correct. I don't know what pants is in Russian. Adidas. It's not pants. Are these Adidas or are these knockoff? I don't know. This is a weird stream already. First 10 minutes, a little weird. Usually, because it's Friday, it's at 5 p.m. my time. There's sort of, kind of, maybe a plan. And today it's just like we're just going to launch into it. I have no idea what's going to happen. I haven't looked over what I'm about to review more than just a few sentences. And so it's just like my brain's like, what do I do? What do I do with my hands? My best, I guess. Let's go to NCR. And everyone else. If I don't look, I can't say hi to everyone, or I could. Perhaps I could. Hello, Air Scout, Alana Hater, me, Catman Dude, Charlie Welch, Chili's. Oh, I can't read that one, but hello. You know who you are. C. Carlo, go. Cova 42, Death Star, Kitty, Denver, Yo-Yo, Diver Dan, Navy Vet, how's it going? Donovan Tanal, I'm so sorry. Doze Castro, El Vampiro, Front Wrangler, Hot 80s Girl, Inquisitor Bacon, Internet God, James K, Jetty Harper, Jolie Philly, I hope. Judy got this, Kfar, Kepri X, Little King of the Birds, Lulin, oh, we've talked about this, I'm not going to try. I'm time crunch. Matt Bond, Mechanics, Malehu, NCR News Network, Nick Volt. Oh no, it's Andy. Only here for the Paralegal 2019. Wrote no last name. Rush on by the Sally Skellington, Sorcerer Red Hair, Spread Eagle E-Beggar, the Goldfish. It keeps changing. Timo Kusela, Tex Mom Bear, Tyler Bell, Vanguard, Womble Flump, and Zed Zippy. If I missed you, it's because you weren't here in time. And oh, it's a party. We still got 2 minutes though. I think I started this music a little early. There we go. That was everyone in the list. And now we wait. Enough of that. Order in the court. Stop it. Anyway. Vanguard! Oh my goodness, thank you so much. People are about to get 10 people are about to get memberships, and it's going to make a lot of noise and be very distracting. I made it the most distracting noise. Oh, I didn't. It's just, for whatever reason. Oh, it's not making the noise. Why? Why is it not making the noise? As if I'm complaining. But there it is. Thank you so much for doing that. Who got memberships? Atlanta Hater, Catmandu, El Vampiro, Greg Yonick. I think that's soft. Yeah. Zed Zippy, Chorkies in a Van. Some of you I didn't name in the thing. Link 219. Timo Kusela, Massive Ore. Hold on, the chat is moving, and I'm struggling to keep up. Donovan Tanal. I'm going to pretend that's how to pronounce your name. And I'm sure I've missed some, but there we go. Anyway. Yay! Thank you so much. That's very much appreciated. Fortunately, I would coin flip for that. But, heck, should I... Coin flip handcuffs, but they're staying in front of me this time, just in case. We know why. It is a heads. We're going in handcuffs, ladies and gentlemen, for a little bit. Got my keys. The old torture cuffs. Probably relevant to what we're about to discuss. And we are at the 10-minute mark. These ones are a little tight. Just like I would do for anyone I was arresting. If it was too tight, I would fix that. That's better. I'm not trying to cause harm to anybody. Just for safe transport. Or for the control of a scene if someone's being unsafe. One more. 2 more clicks. I can live with that. All right. Yeah, not behind the back this time. I will... see, I did it again. I was 1, 2. I knew it was 1 click. I accidentally did 2. The secret is you keep one finger in there, and that's how you know. One more? No? There it is. Yeah, that's it. That's the perfect amount. And then we double lock them. There we go. Maybe this one wants to work. Iceblade, thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. My goodness. Come on, cooperate, you. Problem's getting this angle. Tricky. Well, we're just gonna ignore it. Sorry, Iceblade. Hi. Be glad this isn't payday or throwing some midday juice. Ooh, Icarus. Well, I have a response to that, and it's
careful, Icarus.
No, it's midday. No juice. No juice. What are you talking about? No juice. Oh, it's Kick here. Hi, Kick. How's it going? Too tall for shorts. Hello, as well. Sorcerer Red Hair. Did I name you? I might have. A bunch of people come in. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get into this. Let me pull it up. With an introduction. So first, real high speed here. Shkablamo. Last stream, we saw an individual, an old friend of ours, who was arrested for, I believe it was interfering with the traffic stop and possibly resisting arrest. Obstruction resisting, if I remember correctly. He was arrested, and he has, as of, I guess, today, or maybe yesterday, I'm not really keeping tabs on it, filed a lawsuit in the United States District of Nevada. Wait for damages and demand for jury trial, which I don't think is going to help him as much. Now, Jose de Castro, the man who I have a protection order against, is the plaintiff, whereas the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, state of Nevada, Brandon Burke, I think it Burke. I'm going to say it Burke. It might be Bork. I'm going to say Burke. Jason Torrey, C. Dingle, B. Sorensen, Jesse Sandoval, or Sandoval. I guess I'll go with Sandoval. Officer Doolittle and Doe's 1 to 50 inclusive. Who the hell would be Doe's 1 to 50? I'm sorry, what? There weren't 50 people involved in this arrest, unless he wants to sue every individual member of the department, which is not how this works. You can sue the department as a whole for implementing improper police practices or failure to engage in corrective actions against an employee who's doing the wrong thing. But if you have a police department, right, and over here you have what all the police department or all the police officers do, and then you have like the public records person, and you're like, well, they're in the building, so we're going to sue them. This person doesn't know what the hell is going on over here. They are unconnected. I don't know if that is what he's doing, but 50 people in addition to the officers on scene, I can only imagine that's his plan. Oh boy. Now we're going to pause right here. K Smith, thank you for subscribing, and thank you so much. Says congratulations on 20,000. Oh yeah, I hit 20,000 subscribers. I have a video that I am working on to thank everybody for that, which will happen at some point, maybe. We'll get there. Thank you so much. We'll have a little celebratory stream at some point. Does say, hey, Castro, thanks so much. Says, don't forget to buy my Trifold, risk-free. Oh, the Trifold. By the way, I'm pretty sure, and I haven't really explored the legality of this too in depth, I'm pretty sure his sale of that product is fraud. I never really looked into it. Just the fact that he should know what he's saying is false. And he's been corrected so many times. And he's selling it saying this product will do this thing. Also saying it's indestructible. Although he could claim no reasonable person would believe that. I think he could get in a lot of trouble for selling, fraudulently misrepresenting his product. Will it ever happen? I don't know. Just a thought I had the other day. Someone brought up something. I was like, hold on a second. I kind of want to dig into that. And I haven't really dug into it because what am I going to do about it? But, all right. Let me. Oh, someone's saying Artie. Lisa says Artie will be John Doe 1. What if it's the people? What if the John Does? And if we just read the lawsuit, we'd probably figure it out. But you know how I am. What if it's the people that donated to get the footage? That would be even worse than what I originally thought it might be. We're going to go through this, though. We're going to go through this before I mean, why not just keep reading it so I can find out, right? So, where are we? 1. This is the introduction. Of course, obviously, it says it right there. Plaintiff, a member of the press who specifically records police interactions, and we're stopping it already. That's a problem potentially for him because he's made other statements in the past about his protections as press or as a journalist, etc. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head that this would be directly relevant to right now. But if he is claiming this lawsuit that his actions as a member of the press are only in regards to recording police interactions, it seems to me that an argument can be made, and there are counter arguments, but an argument can be made that he has declared he is not a journalist or, a member of the press for any other purpose. So if he were, I don't know, filing a lawsuit where he's saying, I'm a member of the press, and so I'm allowed to do a thing, and the thing that he was doing was not related to filming police interactions, that first sentence right there, this one, probably could be used against him. I'm not specifying anything in particular that this would apply to, but I can't help but think it would apply to something. Let's keep going. All right, specifically records police interactions. Was recording a police officer interaction outside of a Roll and Smoke barbecue in Southwest Las Vegas, Nevada. We're already stopping. He's allowed to record a police interaction, but that doesn't mean he can get as close as he wants to it. That's pretty clear in case law, is that just because you have a camera, just because you're documenting something, doesn't mean that you have the right to be in it, all up in it. And in the last live stream where we looked at the actual video of this, which I'm not going to pull up because that'd be work and we'd doing this for 5 hours. He didn't know, I believe, what the police interaction was. So there's no reason for him to be 5 feet away. 15 maybe is fine. He still sees all of the interaction. If he can't articulate a specific thing within that interaction that requires him to be more up close and personal, then he can't justify being closer. Because 15 feet will give you as much as you need, or 20 feet, or 30, whatever it is, based on his conduct. Right? His conduct justifies a farther distance. This is a fact. His conduct justifies a greater distance. He was too close. There was no reason for him to be that close. Being back further or farther would not be detrimental to his documentation of just a generic stop, as far as he knows. So that's going to be a problem for him, I imagine. A lot of haters says, I vote 5 hours of blue bacon. No! I've done it before. It's Tuesday at noon. All right. 5 Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officers, including the officer that he was recording under the guise of protecting the privacy of another citizen in public. The officer literally said that Chili should back up. Chili being Mr. Castro. That Chili should back up to protect the person's privacy. Right? He's recording. Oh, I see. He's saying that the police officers showed up under the guise of protecting the privacy of another citizen in public. Yeah, it's also the fact that, sorry, I had it backwards. I was very confused, but we figured it out. There's also the issue that Chili was too close for a variety of reasons. That was just one of the reasons that was stated, was privacy of the individual. So, it makes sense that they would tell you to step back. Where was I? Under the guise to protect the privacy of the citizen in public, without reasonable suspicion that the plaintiff was involved in any criminal activity. Okay. Oh, again, so many issues. So the 5 people didn't show up because they're the privacy. The 5 people showed up because Chili was being detained and or arrested. There may have been a person or two that were en route because there was an issue, and I assume more people showed up after the arrest happened, or the detention, after he started fighting. I'd have to check all of that. But there was reasonable suspicion, which was interfering with a traffic stop or obstructing a traffic stop. The actions that Chili conducted while filming the traffic stop appear, in my personal professional opinion, based on the experience and training that I have, not in Nevada, but for federal law enforcement and the enforcement of state laws within Washington on federal property, it would appear to me that there was obstruction. The officer witnessed it. There is not just reasonable suspicion, but probable cause. So we are on line 21, 22. Yeah, 21. And we have, wow, so many errors already. This is bad news for him. Let's keep going. All right, did it interfere with and rob plaintiff of his liberties while he was in a place that he was lawfully allowed to be? Again, no, he was not lawfully allowed to be there because a police officer has a wide range of discretion in regards to the area immediately surrounding, or even not immediately to within a limit, a traffic stop or a crime scene, et cetera, et cetera. That area is off limits to the public. And therefore, Brandsburg versus Hayes says that it is off limits, or it can be off limits to the press as well, because the press is not generally, words are hard. The press is not generally granted access to an area that is off limits to the public just because they are press. Paraphrasing, of course. So he's not lawfully allowed to be there. Hence the arrest. Let's keep going. While plaintiff was performing constitutionally protected activities. So the filming is protected. The obstruction and interference is not. So this wasn't about the filming, it was about the proximity. I want to say the officer even said that Chili was allowed to keep filming, just like a little bit further away. And Chili is not the one who gets to decide how far away is reasonable or unreasonable. It's up to the officer. And then Chili can, of course, fight that in court. Instead, he's been arrested. Now he's fighting it. And he is at a disadvantage in this fight at the moment. I would personally think, not being a lawyer. I'm going to take these handcuffs off, though. Just so I can use my hands, because I want to. What are we? One in Kermit? What? What are we? Full reading of the lawsuit, put a 1 inch. Okay, we'll see how far we can go. I can't promise anything. You hooligans! Oh no, it's Andy says, Serenity, don't worry. Blue hasn't got past the first sentence. You are almost correct. Oh wow, no, it is the first sentence. It's a very long sentence. Let's keep going. The officer detained plaintiff, handcuffed, arrested, battered, tortured, forced him into the back of a patrol vehicle and searched him and his possessions. All right. Was Chili detained? Yes. Was he handcuffed? Yes. Was he arrested? Yes. Was he battered? No. Sorry. Anyway. Was he tortured? No. Was he forced into the back of a patrol vehicle? I mean, yeah, technically, yes. If he didn't go willingly, he would have been compelled. I suppose forced. Was he searched? Yeah, that's part of being arrested. You get searched. And none of the defendants intervened to prevent the unreasonable detention, arrest, battery, torture, or searches. Well, half of those things didn't happen. And the arrest appeared to be lawful. So why would they? Here's the thing. If you're going to claim you're a constitutional law scholar and get involved in all of these constitutional law scholar things, perhaps consider learning the law first. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird how that works. And now you're involved in this. It's just a mess. Let's keep going. Sadly, the abusive treatment plaintiff endured for merely asserting his rights. You don't have the right to interfere with a traffic stop. And recording the police, yeah, that's unrelated. That's not how you interfered or obstructed. It's not unusual or surprising. Okay, well, now you're just putting opinions in this lawsuit. Yeah, not the strongest strategy, I would think. I mean, I don't file lawsuits as much as he does. So what do I know? But that, unless you're going to say, like, if you're going to put that in there, saying it's not surprising this happened, I would suggest having it as part of, like, I'm suing the entire department. It's not surprising that this individual officer messed up because the department has a history of blank. Now, that I could see being a thing, but just a generic, it's not surprising that police are violating rights. Like, that's not going to be as successful as it could be. In my opinion, that would be a weak statement. It'd be a little too weak for anything I would probably put in a lawsuit if I was suing law enforcement, although I probably wouldn't sue law enforcement for doing the correct thing. So I hope not anyway. Let's keep going. Civil rights action seeks to vindicate plaintiffs' constitutional and statutory rights. Already discussed that. And hold the officers and the department accountable for biased policing practices in the policies or absence of policy that resulted in these practices. There we go. Okay. So that, as I was saying, if you're going to sue the entire department, that might make sense. But then you'd probably want to list a reason why this is a pattern of behavior. However, he's not. Is he suing the entire department? He is. Okay, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and the state of Nevada and the officers as individuals, and then who knows who the does 1 to 50 are. Okay. He doesn't articulate it well. I understand what he's trying to do. There are better ways to write that. Not a lawyer, but I've read some case law in my day, and I would not have written it that way. I would have put in a little bit more. All right. Plaintiff Jose De Castro is an adult over the age of 18, a member of the press, and at all times relevant here too, was and is a resident of the state of California. We don't actually think he technically is a resident of California. Although that one is a little challenging because he doesn't technically have a residence, we don't believe. So can homeless people be considered residents of California? Yes, they can. And if they are traveling outside of the state for work, despite not having a residence or domicile, are they no longer residents of California? Well, if you're traveling outside of California for work, I think you have to be out of California for like 18 months. I don't know how that would factor into having a domicile or not. He has 2 addresses that he has used in the past. I believe his driver's license is registered to an address that I suspect he is not involved in any way, because there was a legal action filed against him that accused him of being a squatter in the address. Now, he may have had permission to squat in the address. I don't know. However, that address that is, as far as I know, still attached to his driver's license. It's not the address he uses in his lawsuits. The address he uses in his lawsuit is on Franklin Street in Santa Monica, California. And that, I believe, is the address of David Condon. Now, when I was trying to serve the protection order against Mr. Castro, I sent a process server there. And the process server was told by, I believe, David Condon that Chili had moved out 3 months prior to that date, which would have been December, January-ish, I believe. So is he still a resident? Not of that address, I don't believe. So it's that feels like a pretty challengeable. That feels like something that you could poke at. I don't know enough about California residency laws to really give a solid, this is how you would attack it, but that feels very pokeable. That makes sense. Now, Paul Barry, thank you so much. Says Chili has 60 people watching his version. Oh, is he also going over this? Ha! Doesn't shock me. I'm not. That's for you guys to watch. I've seen too much of his content recently as I'm going through all of his transcripts, and we have all of them. Every single one. It's not going to be helpful to him. Anyway, I can't. Ooh, spoilers. We got to get back to this. So, where was I? Yes, the parties. Defendant, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, LVMPD, is a quasi-municipal entity and a political subdivision of the state of Nevada created and regulated by NRS. I will allow it. I don't know if all of that is technically correct, but I will allow it. Nothing jumps out at me. If I were to check, I'd look into quasi-municipal and what Nevada defines as a political subdivision. But that may be correct. Defendant State of Nevada is a government entity and at all times relevant here too operates overseas and manages defendant LVMPD under the color of state law. Okay, that seems correct. Color of state law. Usually, so the problem I'm having is usually when I see color of law, the context is you are acting as if you have the legal ability to enforce something when in reality you don't. Not a lawyer. I'm going to ignore it. Might be a problem. Defendant Brandon Burke is and at all times relevant, words are hard, and at all relevant times was an officer with the LVMPD. In doing the things herein alleged, Burke was acting under the color of state law and in the course and scope of his employment with Nevada. Burke is sued in his individual capacity. This one makes more sense. See, acting under the color of state law would suggest, based on what I've read about color of law before, and again, not a lawyer, he's enforcing the law of Nevada without actually having the authority to enforce things he's enforcing. To suggest that Las Vegas Municipal Police Department is managed by Nevada under the color of state law, I don't know. I don't know that that counts. Oh, chat has a fun thing that we're bringing up. Where was it? Rodent, no last name, asks, is Chili claiming California residency preventing him from running for governor of another state? Now, I normally wouldn't care because he's not getting governorship. If he thinks the attention he has now is bad, once the campaign legitimately starts, and he's announced that he's going to run, so technically he is, I believe, a political candidate under relevant laws pertaining to political speech directed towards him or about him. If he actually entered his name onto a ballot, I could not fathom him ever winning. However, if we were to assume there's a chance, and therefore this would be worth exploring, yes, I believe it would in fact harm his chances. And every time he says that he's a California resident, I would argue that sort of resets the clock of how long he has to be a resident of the state in which he might want to run for governor, if there is a requirement to be in a state for a certain amount of time. So, El Vampiro, and this is not I'm just reading it. I'm not stating it as my personal opinion. El Vampiro says his running for governor goes as far as his funds he can raise and walk away with. Hey, you said it, not me. Let's get back to the lawsuit. Defendant Jason Torrey is in at all relevant times, was a supervisor with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, doing the things herein alleged, acting under the color of law, same stuff. Same goes for C. Dingle, was an officer. Defendant B. Sorensen was an officer. Defendant Jesse Sandoval, I think is how he decided to pronounce it. Same thing as an officer. Defendant Officer Doolittle is, and at all times, all relevant times, an officer with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Same stuff. Plaintiff does not know the full name of Officer Doolittle. He does. Does he say the same thing? He says the same for Sorensen and Dingle. Okay, consistency. That's good. Now here we get to the John Does. Now, it says the true name and capacities, whether individual, corporate, associate, or otherwise, of defendants sued herein as Does 1 through 50, inclusive, are unknown to plaintiff, who therefore sues said defendants by such fictitious names. Plaintiffs will amend this complaint to show the true names and capacities if and when the same are ascertained. Plaintiff is informed and believes and thereon alleges that said defendants and each of them are responsible in some manner for plaintiff's damages as herein alleged. Each reference in its complaint to defendants, capital and lowercase, I'll show you. Or a specifically named defendant also refers to all Doe defendants. That is probably going to hurt him. So he doesn't say who they are. He doesn't establish why they are relevant in any way. He says, if I'm saying defendants, they're part of it. That's, I would argue, a little weaker than the courts might accept. That's fine. Oh, Chili just accused me of filing false police reports. Why? Because he violated a protection order and I filed a police report on it? That's not a false police report, bud. You violated a real protection order. And this, I'm not addressing him. This is me speaking into the universe. This is not an invitation to communicate with me, Mr. DeCastro. You are not allowed to do so, and I do not welcome it. In fact, I will consider any communications, despite how much it may seem I am inviting you to converse. I promise you that is never going to be the case. Do not take it that way. But if Mr. Kessler was here, I would suggest to him that reporting a crime that has actually happened is not a false police report. And if he wanted to defend the allegations I made against him as part of the protection order, he should have showed up. He knew when it was. He had all the paperwork. He decided not to. He had an attorney actually review it. So, bad news. The court agreed with me. And based on the evidence I was able to provide, absent a defense, the court said this is enough to establish that a protection order is granted. And it was. And it was served to him. And the court also confirmed it was served. So, also, he may have committed extortion and intimidation of a witness when he threatened to sue me to prevent me from completing the service against him. But that's neither here nor there. Has that gone to the police? Have I written them a statement about that? Have I? I would hate to ruin the surprise if there is one. Anyway, can he run as a living part-time? Oh, I can't read that out loud. Also, if you guys see him comment in this chat, do let me know, please. Yeah. So I'm just checking real quick. He's talking to me. Is he talking to me here, or is he making statements at me? I'm not going to go after him for making statements at me from his channel. That I would not consider personally to be a violation of protection order. It's if he sends them to me, or he comes to where I am, he ensures that I'm receiving it, or he sends someone else to give me a copy of it, of that statement. That would be a violation. He's allowed to talk about me. He's allowed to direct statements at me as long as they are not actually going to me, if that makes sense. If he was in the chat and making the same statements, it would be a problem because he has now come to me and said them. But imagine if it was just two people in a park, and here's one person, here's another person, and there's 500 feet between them, and this person has a protection order against this person that keeps them 500 feet away. If this is the protected party, this is the person that is not allowed to contact. If this person were to go within that 500 feet, they would be wrong. If they were to shout at this person, they would be wrong. If they were talking to another person and saying, ooh, this guy, I would call this person Jim. Ooh, if Jim, Jim, I'm going to get you, Jim, I'm going to get you. But they're just saying it over here where Jim can't experience any of that conversation. I would not consider that a violation. Is it? I don't know. I personally would not. If I were writing an investigatory report, sending it to a prosecutor, I would suggest that the elements have not been met. However, it's really up to them to decide the actual status of whether or not there's going to be prosecution. If that makes sense. Opinions, not a lawyer. However, I was a criminal investigator, and I did investigate violation of protection orders in that status. So, is Red Sox here? Yeah, Red Sox is about to not be here. Because I really don't care for your shenanigans today, Red Sox. Although, what does Red Sox say? Just do a little, no? There we go. Yes. Don't mind me. Time me out real quick. Then, You know what? For the protection of both Mr. Castro and Red Sox, I would hate for them to be violating the protection order in some way. And so, for their protection, I'm just going to block them. Now, usually we allow Red Sox to be here for a little bit, but there is a protection order. Mr. Castro does appear to have violated it a couple times, at least. So, really, I'm doing them a favor. Sorry. And if you make another account, I'll just do the same thing. I won't be too upset about it. I'm blocking you, that is. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, that's for sure. So, let's keep... Oh, Cricket Shepherd says they have information for me. I'm a little curious. Seems Excess Bacon is being civil. I'm just trying to protect them. Because what if he is communicating with me at the request of Mr. Castro? That would be a violation of protection order by Mr. Castro. That's communication through a third party. Maybe I'll bring him back. But right now, this is not the time to be walking that line, unfortunately. Giant Cody, thanks so much. I'm doing good. I really appreciate it. And thank you for being a member for a year. Good God. But yeah, I'm just helping people. That's all. Mods pay to become Mards, says Vanguard. Oh. Interesting. I don't know if that's true. I'm just waiting on alleged information for me from Cricket. But let me keep going just a little bit. I'll keep an eye out for that. And let me know if I miss it. Excuse me. All right. Plaintiff is informed and believes and thereon alleged that each of the defendants, this is copy and paste, which, fair, it's not, you don't have to write them the same every time. I assume this is taken from something else. Plaintiff is informed and believes and thereon alleged that each of the defendants sued herein was negligently, wrongfully, and otherwise responsible in some manner for the events and happenings as hereinafter described and proximately caused injuries and damages to plaintiff. Further, one or more DOE defendants was at all material times responsible for the hiring, training, supervision, and discipline of other defendants, including the individually named and DOE defendants. So remember when I was like, I bet he's suing each individual member of that department, and I don't think that's going to go well for him. I think he is in fact doing that. Oh no, that's a choice. But I digress. Where was I? Yes. Plaintiff is informed and believes and thereon alleges, etc., etc. They were under the fictitious names, acting within the scope, blah, blah, blah. Plaintiff is informed, believes, and alleges, fictitious names, agents of, etc. Plaintiff is informed, believes, and thereon alleges that each of the defendants was at all material times an agent, servant, employee, partner, joint venture, co-conspirator, and or alter ego. Like, he really just lists everything, doesn't he? And the remaining defendants, and in doing the things herein alleged, was acting within the course and scope of that relationship. Plaintiff is further informed. Informed by whom? Doesn't matter. Where was I? And believes and thereon alleged that each of the defendants herein gave consent, aid, and assistance to each of the remaining defendants and ratified and or authorized the acts or omissions of each defendant as alleged herein, except as may be hereinafter otherwise specifically alleged. At all material times, each defendant was integral participant, jointly engaged in constitutionally violative, unlawful, and or tortious activity, resulting in the deprivation of plaintiff's constitutional rights and other actionable harm. Yeah, I feel like this isn't going to be successful. I don't think 50 people are responsible for these allegations. And then, of course, it's 17, paragraph 17, at all material times, each defendant acted under color of law, statutes, ordinances, and regulations of the state of Nevada. Okay, fair. Cricket asks, want it now or private? Which would it be appropriate to just blurt it out into the chat? I'm not too worried about it. Unless you're worried about it. You know more than I do. But let me keep going. I'll keep an eye out. Yeah. All right. Jurisdiction and venue. This court has jurisdiction over the action pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1331 and 1343 because it arises under the constitutional laws of the United States. This is a federal court, right? District court? Yes? No? I don't know. Probably. I assume it's a federal court. This is pursuant to a federal law. I haven't checked the federal law. We're going to make assumptions that are probably not correct. Not a lawyer. Where was I? All right. Compensatory, supplemental jurisdiction of the claims. It happened in Nevada. That would make sense. Court's proper venue because the events happened in Clark County or County of Clark, Nevada. Yep. U.S. District of Nevada. Cool. I'm probably wrong about the federal. Okay, it is federal. Okay. I'm just over here like, am I a crazy person? I don't know. I did zero research into this before going live. Not a lawyer. Thought it'd be fun. I'm going to go over anyway. Might as well do it with you guys. So, general factual allegations. We'll see if these are right. At approximately 4:30 p.m. Pacific on March 15th, 2023, plaintiff happened upon a police interaction between a woman sitting in a silver Hyundai Elantra and Burke, who was sitting in a Ford Police Interceptor with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department logo on it and the number 19084. Plaintiff does not know the woman's name, but will refer to her as Jane. Yeah, because he doesn't know anything about this case. Moving on. Plaintiff started recording the police interaction on one of his phones, moved to a position approximately 10 feet away from Jane. He was, I'm confident, closer than that. I think I had it at about 5 feet. I don't believe 10 feet is. Do I check? I don't think it was 10. Approximately 10 feet away from Jane and making sure not to become between Burke and Jane, asked her if she was good. Are you okay? Yeah, he did talk to her. Part of the problem, though, is that he then started screaming at the officer. I use screaming as a very loose term. Within 6 seconds, Burke left his vehicle, got plaintiff's attention, and told him to back up. A lawful order, in fact. And plaintiff immediately did, which was 3 steps back, if I remember correctly, giving Burke an additional 5 feet. No. Pretty confident he wasn't now 15 feet away from the driver. Burke told plaintiff to back up again, which he is allowed to do. Or he would detain plaintiff, at which time plaintiff began asserting his rights to record the interaction, saying, quote, I am more than 10 feet away. I'm a member of the press. I have a right to be here. Yeah, the 10 feet away thing isn't actually terribly relevant. A member of the press does not have the right to obstruct or interfere. So, no. Also, by doing this, if this does go to trial, which I don't think it will, they rarely do, if ever, the video is going to be shown as evidence against him, part of discovery, et cetera, et cetera. It's not going to go well. You think a jury is going to look favorably upon you after that? I feel like that's not good. But that's personal opinion. Burke threatened to detain plaintiff for obstructing and said she deserves privacy. This is not your business. That feels correct, actually. Now, let me check the chat real quick, making sure I'm seeing if I have a response from something. Cricket Shepard talked to police last night. In which jurisdiction? Because that, to me, can mean a lot of things. I mean, you can send me an email, sergeantbluebacon@gmail.com, SGTBLUEBACON@gmail.com might help. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. All right. Plaintiff continued to assert his rights very loudly and aggressively in a manner that, personally, I believe would cause someone to feel like he should step even further back, and I think a jury would agree. Personal opinion. And notified Burke that plaintiff was a member of the press, which time Burke got upset and said that he was detaining plaintiff. I believe he got upset because Mr. DeCastro failed to step back per the order. I don't think it was because he was the press. Not that he says it explicitly, but it's kind of worded that way. Burke told Jane to leave and started walking aggressively towards plaintiff as if to use force. The plaintiff took a step back to prevent any physical confrontation. No. So he walked towards Castro because Castro is now detained. And Castro started going in different directions, continuing to ignore the orders to go to the patrol vehicle. And of course, hey, guess what? The officer's going to follow you, dude. They're not going to just jazz up on theirs. Hey, what's up, Daddy-O? Yeah, my guy. How you doing? We're gonna slide on over to that patrol vehicle. No, they're gonna walk with a purpose towards you, and they're gonna make you go do it. And how much they make you do it, it really depends on how much effort you put in yourself. If that makes sense. You keep failing to follow orders, it's gonna be a problem. So, like how you're trying to avoid addressing the cop saying she deserves privacy. Well, that's not terribly relevant, is it? Is that directed towards me? Yeah, the officer saying she deserves privacy is not necessarily relevant to whether or not he's obstructing. It can be, is one part of many things that is part of why it would be considered obstruction. One of them being Chili was too close, not just for privacy reason, but for safety. And so that the officer, you got a guy kind of behind you yelling things from 5 to 10 feet away. It's not only going to distract the officer, which there is case law to suggest an officer should be undistractable. But it's also going to distract the driver. It's going to prolong the stop. And so an officer has a duty to ensure the stop is not unreasonably prolonged. If Chili had been on the other side of the vehicle, perhaps, this may have been an entirely different story. But to be on that side, sort of off the back of the officer, to a degree, to the back of where the officer would be facing during the traffic stop, and to have to we're not chameleons. We can't look that way and that way. It's not good. If he had been more in front of the hood, there would have been an argument to make, saying like, no, he could be there. But he wasn't. And so the officer's saying, again, I don't know if this is directed towards me or not. The officer saying she deserves privacy is a statement that I would agree with, but that's not necessarily the element that determined the obstruction. So, oh no. I hope that makes sense. Some of the chat I can't read. All right. Plan to continue to protest Burke putting his hands on him unnecessarily. Yeah, no, it was necessary because you weren't doing the things you were told to do. So the escalation of force goes like this. It starts at the bottom with officer presence, and then it goes up a step to verbal instructions, and then it goes up a step to basically physical control. You can put hands on. That's it. You're failing to obey the verbal instructions, and so now you get to be guided. From there, it escalates to open hand control, no. Oh man, there's so many departments that have it worded just slightly differently. There's a generic sort of thing, but I don't know if Nevada uses. Generally, it's open hand, and then it's going to be joint manipulation, and then it's going to be taser, OC spray, baton, and working dog are often grouped together, and around there you're going to have close hand strikes. But that, not every department allows that, because in some cases that can be considered deadly force, and then you have presentation of deadly force and actual deadly force. Near the top, it gets a little weird because different departments will limit certain things. But yeah, we don't have to worry about that because it was verbal commands escalating to hands-on. Chili failed to follow the verbal commands, so it escalated. That's how it works. And there's an argument to be made, why did the officer de-escalate? Because a de-escalation is a two-way street. Chili had many, many chances to do his part of the de-escalation. He failed to do so, and so it escalates within reason. I would argue perfectly within reason. So, what level is throat punch? I don't think throat punch is allowed. That would be lethal force, or just below it. Because of the odds of it causing serious bodily harm. Dan Tibbet, thanks so much for being a member for 11 months. Good God, people. Why? Why? Not that I'm complaining. I don't understand it, but I really appreciate it. It's not Friday, but I hope you're doing well, Blue. I am doing well. And mild Bill Anderson, you caught it live. You caught it live one. Oh, boy. Good. Thanks for being here. And the rest of you, of course. Shay, too, thank you for being a member of 6 months. It's entertaining. Appreciate it. Where was I? Roundhouse kick. I would argue that's on the level of closed hand strikes as well. And because that's probably not a tactic or technique that is taught to law enforcement, it's probably not one that law enforcement is allowed to use. Maybe. Oh, sorry. Some fun chat. Sorry. Distractions. Where was I? Planning to continue to protest. Burke putting his hands on him unnecessarily, but Burke was patently interested in manhandling plaintiff. Okay, well, calm down, dude, with the language there. You don't have to try to convince. If you have solid facts, you shouldn't need to turn to these kind of statements. I'm not saying you shouldn't or can't. I'm just saying I don't think it necessarily strengthens an argument. I'm not saying that I would never do it. I probably would within reason, but manhandle it seems inappropriate, considering the fact is you were being detained and or placed under arrest, and you were failing to follow verbal instructions, and so it escalates. I mean, in court, that is what will be said. Be like, is it reasonable for you to put hands on? And they will just go, yes, the continuum of force. That's the word I was looking for. Continuum. The continuum of force is blank. It's not a difficult thing to defend against. And Judy, thanks so much, says, we have so much fun here. I appreciate that. Now, so Burke said, listen, I am going to put my hands on you. Burke did indeed batter plaintiff. For the record, folks, putting your hands on someone is not inherently battery. It usually is putting your hands on someone in a way that a reasonable person would consider offensive or harmful. Different states define it differently. I don't know how Nevada does, but just putting hands on is generally not battery, especially if it's permitted within the law. Generally, a battery statute will be, someone is doing a thing without the authority to do so. Officer would have had authority to do this, not battery. That's just going to work against him in court. If he gets cross-examined and they're going to ask him questions about it, and people are going to get asked questions, and it's not going to look like he is filing an intelligent lawsuit. Anyway, 27. We're going so slowly through this. Well, plaintiff was firm in his verbal tone. He never screamed or yelled. That is a lie, I believe. I'm confident that is not true. He never threatened defendants. He never said or did anything that would have led a reasonable law enforcement officer to fear for their safety. That isn't true. Or suspect that plaintiff committed or was planning on committing any crime. The crime was the obstruction. You don't have to be committing a crime to be committing obstruction. Obstruction is the crime. It's the primary offense. I'm not saying he said any threats, but he spoke a little aggressively. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. We'll go to Artie's Corporate Fiction. That's who has all the goods. And we go to his videos. I hope Artie doesn't mind me doing this. I hope not. Let's see. Let's see if he yells. That's all I'm looking for right now. I mean, we'll hear it. I don't have it pulled up for you guys. And I know this. I know I don't have it pulled up. Skipping ahead.
Hey, back up. Back up. You're not involved.
Oh, I see.
You can film, but you need to stay away from my driver. Back up. Back up or I'm going to detain you. We're obstructing. Get away from my car stop.
It's hard to hear with the audio. I know there's better audio.
Okay. Listen.
Not yelling yet.
She deserves privacy. This is not your business. Okay. You're being detained right now. Damn, you're free to go. Come over to my car. Come over.
That's a yell. Now, I mean, he spoke very loudly. I wouldn't necessarily say he was yelling or screaming. Now that I've looked at it. Again, this is why I said in the beginning. I may be misremembering the events. And he's speaking very loudly. And he did go, that's a yell, technically.
Over to my car. Come over to my car right now.
Don't put
Come
your
over.
fucking hands
Listen,
on me.
I am going to put my hands on
No,
you.
you're not.
Control through Albert 1.
I gotta make sure. Hey guys, make sure
Oh, God, the way he reaches behind him. I know you can't see it.
you guys get my people. Stop.
Constructive. We're going to go to the code red, but
A little bit of yelling.
Rodriguez versus United States.
you need to set the phone down on the hood.
Yelling to
Why
follow
are you
instructions.
Come over here to the car.
Sure.
A little bit of yelling. So I think that's not really going to look too good in court. Because there is a little bit of yelling. What do you say? He yelled. He yelled. I would argue he did not scream. I believe he yelled. So we'll say that. Plaintiff asked for a supervisor while continuing to protest against illegal detainment, against the use of unnecessary force. I felt pretty necessary because you weren't following instructions. Plaintiff offered to walk to Burke's vehicle, which seemed to be where the officer wanted to illegally detain plaintiff. You offered. He wanted to detain me over there, so I offered to do it. It wasn't something that you could offer to do, dude. It was something that you were required to do. And in the video, and I know you guys can't see it, it's fine. I'm so sorry. But in the video, there we go. Yeah. Where was I? He does start walking towards the vehicle and then turns around and stops. That's not doing what he's saying he's doing, is it? No. Let's see. As soon as plaintiff reached the vehicle, he's forcefully grabbed and told that he's being placed under arrest. No, he was not at the vehicle yet. He stopped before getting to the vehicle, turned around, and then the officer was like, nah, whoa, like, keep going. Put his hand on his shoulder. Castro swept the hand away. So remember how it's like, oh yeah, physical contact, and then if that doesn't work, you escalate to the next thing? Well, physical contact doesn't work. You escalate a little bit. Now, it's still technically physical contact, but now there's a little bit more grabby hands, that open hand control. Once something stops working, you go to the next step, next reasonable step. That's what I saw. Next reasonable step on the force continuum. And this will not be difficult for the officer or the department in Las Vegas, who's probably done this before, in the sense that they defended against ridiculous lawsuits. They're gonna be familiar with the process of just being like, no, get out of here. So, plaintiff asked for a supervisor. Did I already say that? Yes, I did. Forcefully grabbed and told that he was being placed under arrest. Plaintiff was patted down and placed in handcuffs. Yep, that's part of the handcuffing process. Generally, I believe you are handcuffed and then patted down. So I assume that's what happened. Doesn't really matter, just semantics. But plaintiff made defendants aware of a prior shoulder injury. And plaintiff was put in 2 pairs of handcuffs. Wow, they did a very nice thing for you. 2 pairs of handcuffs. That means like the farthest you can get your hands that far apart. Don't pretend that your shoulder injury didn't allow you to do that. Don't be like, I'm going to beat up this cop in a ring. Boy, it's my knees and my blood pressure that stopped me from doing it. When your shoulders are so bad, you can't have double cuffs. Where it's, I don't have 2 pairs of the same handcuffs. I have the old ones, the new ones, the fake old ones. You have them double cuffed like this. Where was I? About that distance. Maybe a little bit less, because you kind of have a larger chain. You're telling me that you're going to fight and beat an officer. You're going to fight and beat me. He challenged to fight me. He wanted to fight me. If you don't agree to let me beat you up, I'll sue you. It feels a lot like extortion. I don't know. But yeah, you think a guy who has shoulders that are so bad he can't have his hands this far apart behind him is going to win a fight? Doesn't seem reasonable. So that makes me think that his statements about the shoulder injury are false, because he repeatedly claims that he can beat people up. I'm a soldier. I'm in the Army. Yeah, I'm in the band now. I was military police. We had additional training. We did combatives. I'm not as deadly as I used to be, but I can hold my own. I don't think that his argument is going to be terribly strong if he says they hurt me because my shoulder. Anyway, all right. Put in 2 pairs of handcuffs to adhere to his medical needs. Although later during the encounter, defendant police officer would yank and squeeze forcibly on plaintiff's arm over and over and unnecessarily. We have the video of that. That doesn't appear to have ever happened. So, good luck. Plaintiff was soon surrounded by 4 different police officers. Yeah, more or less. Okay. And now defendants, where he continued to protest that they had no valid reason to detain or arrest him. Hey, guess what, buddy? So, you know what people often do when they're being arrested? They say that there's no reason to arrest them. You know how many of those people are correct? Not the majority. How many wrongful arrests do we see each year? Someone give me a number. There is a delay with the chat. Someone give me a number. And I want a good number. Give me a high number. you're watching after the fact, just skip ahead. 60,000. Well, 60,000 K, 60,000. Well, 60,000. Let's say there are 60,000 bad arrests. Depending on your sources, there's between, and that's the highest number I'm seeing. I am seeing 50,000. I'm seeing 86,542. All right. We're going to stick with the 60,000. That's the one I was going for. There are between 50 and like 130, depending on your sources in the year, 150 to 30 million, police contacts with people over the age of 16. We'll go low. We'll say 60 million. 60 million police contacts with people over the age of 16. Does not include people under the age of 16. 66,000 out of 60 million contacts, not arrests, but contacts. It's a very low percent. Let's find out that percent, actually. If we take 60,000 divided by, what was it, 50 million, I said? My numbers are probably a little bit off here. And then we multiply that by 100. That would suggest, if 60,000 was correct, which as far as I know is a made-up number, that would suggest that 0.12% of police interactions with people over the age of 16 would lead to an unlawful arrest. 0.12%. It's not a lot. I believe that would suggest that, oh man, no, the math is too hard. That's not a lot. That's what 60,000, that's guessing, and that's on the lower end of police contacts. Let me actually look that up. We're going to look that up. How many police contacts with people? Make sure I have my numbers right. $2020, about 53.8 million. Haha. I've seen above 100 million. I don't remember which year, though. Is it 2018? 2018 was 61.5. I don't know where the 100 million would come from, which is why I kept it low. I actually had it lower. So 58 million in 2020, is that what we're looking at? 53.8 million, excuse me, had one or more contacts. So that's what it was. 53.8 million has one or more contacts, but the actual contacts are more than that. Don't remember what it is. I saw that math. So it's a lot. Something just happened. Mav, a thing just worked. A thing just happened that I did not think would. And I'm glad that you tested it by accident.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
There's also that and this.
Mav 1911 isogeur.
Could you imagine if they did go hands-on and put him in an Americana or Kimura? The alpha mouth would finally stop spewing nonsense and he would rethink life decisions.
Oh boy, let me tell you, using your jujitsu terms, is that terms? Excuse me. Words are hard. That's a jujitsu thing, right? Yes. Okay. That is what it's been a while. All right. It's been a while since I've done jujitsu. Very useful skill to know. I have not done it in a while. All the terms have flitted away. Yes. I feel like he would perform poorly. But thank you very much for that. Also, I forgot that I have it set to do pronunciations differently. So I don't know what that just was. I'm pretty sure it said you're a jerk with a weird pronunciation. Anyway. Okay, that's exciting. Sorry, there's a thing that gets triggered by donations. Just like there are some people that get triggered by donations. Little jokes there. Let's keep going. Where was I? Planet soon surrounded, blah, blah, blah. Burke used plane to be on drugs based on the color of skin. It was not. It's not the color of his skin, it was the color of his lips. There are certain drugs that when you are on the drugs, the color of your lips do change. I believe based on the blood flow and how the drugs affect your body. It is not unreasonable to believe that the color of someone's lips, not their skin, although in some cases the skin would matter. That was not what actually happened here, so that's a false statement of fact. Well, she's saying, well, lips are skin. Well, okay, then say lips. Just say lips, because that's what actually happened. Don't appear to be deceptive. It's not, based on his behavior and based on that, it is not unreasonable to believe that Mr. Castro may have been on a controlled substance. I was a counter-narcotics investigator, I can confirm, although I can't give you all the details because I don't remember all of them. It's been many years. But yes, lips are relevant. Plaintiff said that he did not have a criminal record. I appreciate that. I'll read it in a second. Things I do to myself. Cialis kicked in. What is Cialis? Anyway, as if I don't know. I've seen the commercials. Ah, I see. Okay. Why? What? Why? All right. Where was I? Did not have a criminal record, and Burke entered his vehicle to type up a report. So DeCastro has lied to the police because DeCastro does in fact have a criminal record. He keeps saying it, but he has one. We've proven it. I can continue to prove it. Sarah of the Seas, thanks so much, says, you know what, Bacon? It's probably a shame that Chile won't be able to retain the services of punitive damage attorney at Lulz. Love from across the pond. Oh, what? Cheerio there. Wait. I don't know if that's the part of the pond. I'm sorry. Very offensive, I'm sure. Good to have you here. Glad you could participate. And that's how I was canceled. Moving on. I was somewhere. Soon after, one of the defendant officers demanded the plaintiff look only straight ahead, and when plaintiff did not immediately comply, the defendant began squeezing plaintiff's elbow, placing pressure on the ulnar nerve. I don't know if that actually ever happened. Maybe. My thought is that Chile may have been looking around to spew nonsense at people. My personal opinion, that was nonsense, and may have been turning to do it. Right? Like I'm gonna turn and talk to you. You generally move your shoulders. But if someone's holding you by the arm, I don't think it was by the elbow. Wherever he was holding, it may have been the elbow. If someone's turning and you're just gonna like keep them from turning, you're gonna hold that elbow so that that elbow goes with you when you turn. Unless you're doing this. And if you're doing this, like if someone's holding you, well, unless you're making the conscious decision to do that, but that's not a normal thing. Unless you're a puppet. That's a solid joke that I will not elaborate on. So yeah, I assume as he's sort of turning, an officer may have said, hey man, stop turning. And then maintain the position of the elbow. That's not unreasonable at all. Come on. Anyway, plaintiff complained about the pain and protest against needing to look in a specific direction to have an arrest effectuated against him. Yeah, it wasn't. So I don't think it was so much, and this is speculation. I don't think it was so much that, again, as I've just explained, I'll explain it again because you keep making the same mistakes. I don't think it was so much that you were only allowed to look in one direction. It was that you kept turning, I imagine. That'd be my guess. Sorry, bud. Once you're under arrest, you have a lot less control over yourself legally. The defendant squeezing plaintiff's elbow said that it was within their policy to squeeze elbows for people in their custody that did not comply with random commands that would grant complete dominion over another human being, from which way plaintiff's head could turn to his right to use speech or when he can blink. I assume, I'm going to guess the officer never actually said that. We're allowed to have complete dominion over another person, and we're allowed to squeeze elbows to do it. Now, is it within their policy to hold on to an elbow? Yeah, I assume absolutely it would be. The commands were not random. If the command was, hey, stop turning and stuff, that's not a random command. That's stop fighting me, dude. Just stand there. Just be an adult and stand there and wait. What is wrong with you? If you need to say something, just say it forward. You don't have to be twisting all around. An officer can absolutely keep you from maneuvering all over the place when you're under arrest. That's just sort of how it works. Now, personally, if he was struggling to just stand still, I may have just put him in the back of a patrol car and had him wait. Roll the window down a little bit, turn the air conditioning on if necessary, although it wasn't a hot day. And we know that because you can check the temperature, and also because Mr. Castro left his dog in his car. So, and he got away with it because it wasn't hot enough for that to be a huge problem. Let's see. When he can blink, they're not giving orders when to blink. I would be shocked if an officer brought up, well, we can tell you when to blink. Because no, they can't. Yeah, you could come up with a scenario where they could instruct you to blink. But generally, no, that's not how that works. Mechanic says he kept pulling away. Yeah, that was my guess. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's just turning and not like trying to pull away. But yeah, he is wrong, and this is very provable. So, yeah, cut the end of it. All right. Plaintiff experienced severe pain and paresthesia from the compression of the ulnar nerve. Yeah, that must be why he mentioned it at the time. No, he did not. We're giving him another one of these. When plaintiff pleaded for help from the surrounding defendant officers, they completely ignored plaintiff. Plaintiff told them, "You're going to be sued for failing to intervene. I'm sitting here telling you this man is torturing me. Please have him to stop." Plaintiff was ignored by all sworn peace officers on the scene who are now defendants. Yeah, because you weren't being tortured. Lying to a police officer doesn't mean that they have to act on that lie when it's obviously not true. I'm pretty sure, didn't you say that the torturing was from the handcuffs, not the pressure on the elbow? Am I wrong about that? I haven't listened to the cleaned up audio, so I don't know. But generally, your complaint is the handcuffs. And they were real nice about the handcuffs. But yeah, holding on to somebody's elbow is not torture. And if it was really painful for that pressure on your elbow, consider this. Don't be turning away and pulling away and failing to follow instructions. It's called pain compliance. I'm not saying they were even using it. I'm just saying that is a thing that police can use. I kind of doubt that was what was happening there. But good luck proving it. I sure hope you went to a hospital and got that documented. It's going to be kind of difficult to argue if you didn't. Especially with your past statements about how tough and able to fight you are. It's cute, though. It's cute. Let's see. Plaintiff's elbow is squeezed for approximately 15 minutes in total before plaintiff's pain tolerance forced him to tear his elbow away from the defendant officer. Yeah, I don't think that's what happened. I think that you were just upset you were being held by another man. But okay. Pain tolerance, sure. I don't remember you screaming in pain or yelling in pain or showing any signs of actually being in the kind of pain that would require you to physically resist a police officer to get away from their hold. Usually there are some indicators of that. I don't remember seeing any. Although perhaps there were and I missed them because I didn't really watch the video too much. I skimmed around a little bit, but after the actual arrest, I didn't really watch too much of it. If anyone knows of the timestamp in which he was exhibiting signs of so much pain, please drop it in the chat. But I digress. At some point, defendant Torrey, the supervisor, arrived on the scene, authorized the defendant's behavior as being within their policy. Shocking. Torrey then stated that plaintiffs should be arrested to discourage plaintiff's behavior. No, he probably just confirmed that the arrest was good to move forward. Or, as I was saying earlier, maybe they just put him in a patrol car to be like, all right, cool. If he's not going to comply, just put him in the back of a car. And we'll take him to the station. That's not unreasonable. He's already under arrest. All the defendants on the scene knew that there's no reasonable suspicion or probable cause to suspect plaintiff of any crimes. That is obviously not true. Excuse me. Mr. Mad Marty, thank you so much. And Haley Duquette, thank you for subscribing as well. The obstruction and resisting. Where have you been, buddy? You were there. How are you missing this? This is pretty clear. Don Newman says he's also pulling away while they were trying to cuff him. I do remember that happening, yeah. That does sound familiar. Edgar Gonzalez says 315 video stamp. On whose video? Of him showing that he was in so much pain he had to pull away. Was that Artie's video? I'll keep an eye out for it. Where was I? All the defendants in the scene and wrongfully believe that they were justified in detaining plaintiff wrong for asserting his civil rights, not what's happening, and for refusing to cooperate with the defendant's feelings. What? And ridiculous, unreasonable demands of a law-abiding citizen. Oh, I see. The defendant. The orders are just his feelings. No, that's not. It's a very defensible instruction. And the demands are not ridiculous or unreasonable. Wait, he's refusing to cooperate with the ridiculous and unreasonable demands of a law-abiding citizen. She's saying that, who's the law-abiding citizen? Is it him? Yeah, that's worded weirdly. Irish Demon has it. The original, or a lawyer would never write like this, by the way. I mean, you don't have to write like a lawyer per se. It helps to a degree. But there's a lot of just messy nonsense that's like, bro, if you're going to use the terminology, you don't have to use all of it. You don't have to make it this ridiculous. There is... It's a thing. It's a thing. All right. Artie has the raw. So we're talking 3:15 in Artie's raw footage, but that would be before. If it's the first video, that would be before the 15-minute mark. Are we talking about the second video released by Artie at 3:15? Iceblade says, I think, by the way, Iceblade says, image of the hand on his arm in Discord. On my Discord? Ah, I see. Yeah, that's not his elbow. That's holding him by the bicep, basically. Oh, no. That's not the elbow. That's the bicep, just above the elbow. He's a crazy person. It's fine. That's an opinion. That's hyperbole. Don't take that as fact. Yeah, that's not. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh no. That's not the elbow. It's fine. All right. We keep going. Oh boy, this is going to be a very defensible case, just like most of the cases he files are, if not all of them. Oh, Jassa, how's it going? All right, where is I? Burke engaged in profiling against members of the press. That's profiling. So when he stated that First Amendment auditors had been known for dropping their phone, pulling out guns, and shooting at officers, which is preposterous and provably false. I believe we can prove that First Amendment auditors have carried guns and presented firearms. I believe that is provably true. I'm not saying that all of them have, but it has been known to happen. I'm pretty sure I could name. I don't remember who it was. But yeah, that's a defensible thing on the department's side. There are enough things that have happened where people were filming a stop and then engaging in violence with police that is a statement that can be backed up. And additionally, the statements that the officer made to Mr. Castro on the scene are not the only statements that can be admitted to court as far as the reasoning for the arrest or the elements of the crime that were met. An officer doesn't have to tell you every single thing on the scene. More stuff will be said as testimony. I can promise you that. I would put money on it if I were a betting man, which I'm not. Some of you are, but not much. Very rarely. I very rarely bet. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, and profiling doesn't really make sense. That's fine, because there's more than just that type of member of the press. Assuming that you'd call all First Amendment auditors members of the press, which I actually wouldn't per se. Some of them some of them are. I would argue that some of them are. But there are a few of them, if not more than a few of them, that I would consider not to be members of the press, based on the actions they have begun to engage in, which are... That's a whole different topic. Oh, don't get me started. Where was I? Now, yes, a defendant officer said that plaintiff needed to be patted down again. Yeah, sometimes you have to do it twice. Sometimes you do an initial one, and then before you get into the patrol car, you do a really thorough one. I think I know what's going to happen here. Protest that already been patted down by two officers. The officer then spread plaintiff's legs uncomfortably wide. I almost said uncontrollably. I'm sorry. And purposely, maliciously, and with significant force, struck plaintiff in the testicles with what felt like a closed fist. Plaintiff yelled in pain. I can't believe he just hit me in the nuts. Did he actually yell in pain? I don't know. I haven't checked Cricket, but I can't. Let me finish this thought, and then I'll try and remember to do that. Thank you. As we call it a credit card swipe. So as you're paying someone down, let me get the process. Wait, give me. So you have someone. You say, depends on how you're doing it. Let's say their hands are behind them. You'd step off slightly to the side. You'd say, lean forward at the waist until he tell you to stop. You lean and you tell them to stop. Keep them a little bit off balance. If they're going to make any move against you, they're generally going to have to take a step forward, which is going to be an indicator that they are about to do something. You go, okay. Spread your feet apart until he tell you stop. Now, what we would try to do more appropriately than that, we don't say spread them. But you don't want to say spread them. We were taught not to say it. The best term you can use is widen your stance until I tell you to stop. Then you widen the stance, you tell them to stop. So while they're off balance and their stance is wide, you would search them methodically. Generally, if hair, if they have a lot of hair, you might put your hand through it. If they have a hat, you take that off, you place it on the ground, you check that afterwards. You go through the collar, you roll it. I generally do one side at a time, so while I'm holding them, I'll hold them with my right hand. You crinkle the collar, check for razor blades and or handcuff keys, things like this. And then you'd crinkle and roll or crumple and roll down the sides and the back. Then you do the arm. You check the waistband, get real up in there. Then you go down the legs. Do that to the other side. You check once you get to the waistband again. And we're talking, you go all the way around as best you can. Waistband is very important. Once you've done everything, you go up their leg, right between their legs, and you pull out. That's what we call the credit card swipe. Because that is one of the best places to hide a weapon and have it be undiscovered. When I was a wee MP going through training, I failed to discover a firearm in a training scenario because I didn't want to get all up in there. And the instructors obviously know this, and so that's where they hide it. There are people who have created holsters specifically to hang down there. You got people wearing baggy pants. The holster, people have used coat hooks. Some people have something more professional than that, and it just dangles, and you have a small weapon. And unless you're all up in their junk, you're not going to find that. Now, you don't want to hit hard. We don't want our hands up in there. That's gross. Any more than we want to do a cavity search. No, never want to. Well, I don't think he uppercutted his junk. I don't think that happened at all. Now, before I forget, we're learning things. It's educational. Where will I? Let me check to see if I got the email. If I have it, it has not updated yet. Sometimes it just doesn't update for a little bit because it hates me. So no, I do not have the email. sgtbluebacon@gmail.com. Delete Laws says, you get a lawsuit, everybody gets a lawsuit. I assume this is the fake Delete Laws. Hey, how's it going? But anyway, let's keep going. All right. Again, also, I don't think he actually yelled that he got hit in the nuts. I could be wrong, though. I didn't see that part of the video. I just don't remember anyone pointing it out to me. That would be something I would expect people to point out to me. Not because I want them to. It's just people have sent me stuff for enough years that I have a general idea of what the internet thinks I'll be interested in. And usually the internet's right. I'm just not saying that I want a video watching him have pain inflicted upon him. That's ridiculous. I wouldn't want that. But we keep going. This plaintiff was forcibly placed into a police vehicle. Yeah, because you probably didn't want to go in, right? So they would have to force you in. That's sort of how that works. Who pulled the seatbelt as tight as they could. Oh, they keep the seatbelt tight. It's not, they're not yanking that thing. It's just, no, they make sure that it is tight against your body. I doubt. And if someone can point this out to me, that they yanked up on it, please do. Please do send that to me. Oh, sorry. Chat is saying, yes, people hide guns in the groin. Oh, I know. All right. Pull the seatbelt as tight as they could, knocking the air out of the plaintiff. Where is it? Plaintiff, again, pleaded for help from surrounding officers, but he was ignored again. Yeah, probably because you're a big baby and nothing they did appears to be wrong yet. Sorensen attempted to get a plaintiff arrested for NRS 202.47 for having his dog in a vehicle, even though plaintiff's animal was not in unsafe conditions. They didn't attempt, they inquired about it. They were like, hey, how much of a problem is this going to be? That's not an attempt. That's, hey, should we charge him with this? Do we think the dog is unsafe? No. I remember seeing that conversation between the officers. No, I don't think that has any merit. Plaintiff was searched and transported to Clark County Jail, where he would not be formally charged, but only released with citation approximately 5 hours after the incident began. Yeah, that's formally charged, dude. If they cited you, that's a charge. Is it not? Someone correct me if that's not. A citation saying that you were charged with a crime is a formal charge. Are you complaining that they released you on your own recognizance? That seems like a weird thing to complain about. Okay. Officer's actions left plaintiff in the position where he had to pay for a ride back to his vehicle. Oh, he probably shouldn't have committed a crime. And did pay money for such a ride. On the arm that defendant squeezed, plaintiff was left with a severe bruise in his elbow area. Now, people have told me, and I haven't made the comparison, I haven't actually compared the images side to side, that the bruise that DeCastro had and then where he was being held are in two different places. Other people said it. I don't know. They decided to not charge him, says Kova. He has charges, though. We saw him get charged. If he was released with citations, that's a charge. Yes. Yes. That noise you just heard, Shelby, that was you. Oh, this is gonna be a problem. It works. It works. I can't tell you what it's for yet. Just know that it works. Also, Shelby, thank you so much. That was really kind of you. Thank you. And also, delete laws. Thank you. Fake delete laws. I don't know if I thanked you. I know I acknowledged you. But yeah, he was. Oh no, Jessa. Anyway, he was not charged for the dog thing. He was charged with the other stuff. I digress. As a result of the defense actions, plaintiff suffered the deprivation of his rights and liberties, sustained physical injuries, and suffered physical pain, mental suffering, emotional distress, fear, embarrassment, and other general damage in an amount to be proven at trial. Now, that's not a bad thing to state. That's exactly what I would expect in this kind of lawsuit for these kind of damages if it was written by a competent person. It's just that the facts that he's alleging don't support that claim. But that is a solid paragraph. I will give him that. Gave himself a hickey. That'd be a way to do it. Shay, too. Thank you for gifting memberships, by the way.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
Shelby 66 girl is a jerk.
There it is. Okay. Anyway, Shay, too, thank you so much for gifting the memberships. Very, very generous of you. And if you're getting membership, that's probably why. I will list who it is. So last summer, 7. I feel like this isn't the first time you've gotten one. Lisa Alcazar, Logan Sandman, Anacido Maldonado, and Arisen. Arisen, you're not a member? No, that's fair. There hasn't been anything terribly new in the member section. There will be soon, though. And now that's going to happen. It's going to be very distracting. Bear with me. All right. At no time during the encounter with defendants did plaintiff do or say anything that would put a reasonable officer in fear of his or her safety, except for obviously being too close to a traffic stop and refusing to follow orders and being a little bit aggressive. Following the incident, Burke claimed in a written incident report that the reason why plaintiff was arrested was for engaging with a detained driver, refusing to give an officer reasonable space to work, and refusing to obey lawful commands after being advised that he was detained. Yes, that's exactly what we saw happen. The detained person's rights are only limited as to leaving. Police officers, specifically defendant Burke's feelings, must be weighed against the citizen's rights. The defendant's behavior did not follow LVMPD's use of force policy in interaction with the public policy. It probably surely did. So, yeah, detained person's rights are only limited as to leaving. That is not in any way true. If you're detained, you're not free to leave. But also, if you're detained, an officer has discretion over the activities that you are permitted to engage in while detained. That's ridiculous. There's absolutely court rulings that say a detained person can be instructed to move from place to place, or to not get closer, or not to get farther away, or to not put their hands in their pockets, or not do a variety of things. There's absolutely rulings and regulations on all of that. That is a terrible argument to put on paper, and that's going to hurt him quite a bit, I think, in this lawsuit, potentially. It's one of the many things that could be used to hurt him quite a bit. Navy Girl, thank you so much, says, without medical docs, isn't his case weak? It certainly doesn't help him. It's going to be really difficult for him to prove medical damages without medical evaluation on paper. Is Tones here? Hey, how's it going, Tones? Says Chili certainly has enough room in his jock sock for a Baron BMG and a couple hand grenades. You said it, not me. All right. Written report by Burgos claimed, and we'll quote it here, because DeCastro was physically uncooperative with officers admitted to being in trouble numerous times in the past for similar reasons. Yes, I believe he did say, like, I get arrested all the time, but I'm never charged. That's admitting that he's been in trouble. And would not even allow officers to explain to him, why he was detained or placed in handcuffs. Yeah, he talked over them quite a bit. We determined that he was not a good candidate for a citation and release. Because of DeCastro's actions, it was clear that his criminal behavior would continue in the area if police did not act. Yeah, so they took him to the station, processed him there, and then released him. That's still a charge, ladies and gentlemen. And I agree with that statement. His actions were obviously a problem in that area. And if they had just been like, here's a citation and released him, he would have continued to be a problem in that area. Is that permitted? I would have to go through the police department's policies on the catch and release, as it were. But I don't actually have a problem with that. Yeah, I mean, I think that depends on if the officer's well, no, I would say his behavior as a whole. It's like, yeah, no, if he can't be reasoned with here while he's merely detained to receive citations, if we can't have this conversation, we can't explain it to him, bring him to the police station, makes sense. I would definitely support that argument. I think that's a valid argument. We keep going. Oh no. Give me a second. Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Just making sure it's not the real delete laws. You understand. All right. The facts in the incident report were either fabricated or merely pretextual. No. Autistic Cat, hey, thank you for subscribing. And Go Touch Grass, thank you for becoming a member. Where was I? Even the facts set forth in defendant Burke's report were true, which the video evidence disputes. It doesn't. The opposite, in fact. Those facts still do not give rise to reasonable suspicion to detain plaintiff Terry versus Ohio. No! Oh my God. So, delete laws, his whole shtick is based around, more or less, the idea that Terry versus Ohio should be overturned. But here he... do you understand where I'm going with this? Here he is, using it in his defense, despite him saying that it is not valid, it's unconstitutional, it needs to be overturned. He's using it for himself. Oh no. Castro. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on, man. Okay, we'll keep going. That's nuts. That's a weird choice for him to make. That I feel like it might hurt him in the long run. We keep going. Just doesn't think long term, does he? It's fine. Certainly did not furnish probable cause to arrest plaintiff. Yeah, no, you did the thing that they said you were doing, and they witnessed it. That's probable cause. What are you talking about? Plaintiff stated earlier in the encounter that he had no criminal record, which is a lie. He lied to police. And there wasn't any criminal behavior except of what was seen on the video, which was criminal behavior, obstruction, and then resisting. At that point, a reasonable officer would have left the plaintiff alone. No. Burke never told the plaintiff that there was an investigation. What did you think the traffic stop was, my guy? In the beginning of this lawsuit, earlier in the lawsuit, you say, there's a traffic stop, I was filming it, and Burke was the officer handling it. That was the investigation. Obviously. Are you kidding me, my guy? What is wrong with you? That's not an invitation to communicate with me. It's a general statement to the air. Where was I? Yeah, right. Somewhere. All right. Rather, Burke only demanded that plaintiff respect Jane's privacy in public. Yeah, well, they don't have to give you every single reason. That's just a reason that he gave, appealing to your, or attempting to appeal to your sense of humanity. Defendant Burke seemed only intent on preventing plaintiff from recording the police interaction. No, he said that you were still allowed to record, just you weren't allowed to be that close. Where were you? They're going to bring this up in the trial. If he did say that, I'm pretty sure he said that. Perhaps it's because plaintiff has recently covered several stories about Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department that went viral on the internet. Did he? I do not recall this. It's fine. Plaintiff is informed, believes, and intends to prove how to conduct a relevant discovery, the defendant's actions, etc., illegally searching him as belongings, blah, blah, motivated largely entirely by the following. Plaintiff's position as a member of the press that records police interactions for accountability. That literally does not matter if you are too close. Plaintiff's negative viewpoint, police who all contribute to or hold silent, the thin blue line about police brutality. That is a statement of opinion, not a fact, despite being stated as a fact by plaintiff. So that's not going to look good. Plaintiff's verbal protestations of the defendant's actions and plaintiff's accusations that the defendants were harassing him. No, that's not relevant. Indeed, as shown on the video footage captured by plaintiff's cell and the video footage plaintiff expects to obtain from the defendant's body cams, plaintiff did not do or say anything that would have provided reasonable suspicion or probable cause for the detention and or arrest. Well, you're not an expert on the subject. In fact, I can't think of a single subject you're an expert on. So that's really too bad that you have that opinion. Probable cause for the detention and or arrest, excessive use of force, and subsequent searches. Therefore, there's strong interference that the defendants were in fact motivated by one or more of the three factors enumerated above. Then we have causes of action. We have Fourth Amendment stuff. Blah 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 blah. He's second cause of action. We have 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, which and the 14th Amendment, of course, 14th Amendment. Which, I feel like is that 1983. I know this one too. Hold on. It's not color of law. It is. Right to be free from deprivation. Hold on, we're checking it. 42 U.S.C. 1983. 42 U.S.C. 1983. Civil action, deprivation of rights. Okay, yeah. And the 14th Amendment, I suppose, would be relevant to that. Cool. It's against them. Oh. Well, he's learned, and he hasn't put plaintiff against everybody. That's what he did in a previous lawsuit, which should definitely hurt him. We'll see. And acting color of law, etc., etc. Third cause of action, 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, and the First Amendment. Okay. No, because he still had every right to gather news as part of the press. It's fine. We already talked about it. Fourth cause of action, 1993, Monell and supervisor liability against the state supervisor, Does 26 through 50. We don't know who those are. He doesn't know who those are. It's the department. Oh, yeah, he says Does 26 through 50, but then he says Does 1 through 25. That feels very challengeable. Anyway, something, his skin color, something, false report, something. Oh, now he's got 26 through 50. And now he's got 1 through 25. If I actually went through that might be a problem. I'm not going to. I'm sick of this guy. His lawsuits. What? There's just an entire page. That might not have been his fault. That might have been the clerk. I don't know. I'm not going to call him out for it, but entire page. All right. Aforementioned custom policies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fifth cause action. All right. Hit 42 U.S.C. 1981. Oh, and 1983. Okay, so this is a different statute that he's calling them out for. Let's see. 1981. Equal rights under the law. What? Get out of here. Yeah, I don't think that It's going to work out too hot. Saying discrimination because it was race and political viewpoints. Yeah, I don't think he proved any of that in this lawsuit. Sixth cause of action, assault against all defendants. Every single person assaulted them. Every single person named, despite perhaps not having assaulted him. If you wanted to say conspiracy to assault, maybe he could name a few, but only the people who touched him, he could actually make a claim. And I'm not saying he'd make a valid claim. I'm just saying, like, if they haven't touched you, if they haven't placed you in fear, okay, it depends on how they write assault. Assault is different states. It gets confusing and weird. But to say it's against everybody, that 60 plus people, maybe not 60, but let's say around 60 people assaulted him, that's not going to survive. You're setting yourself up for failure, I would imagine, for that one. And then he claims that he was harmed because of direct proximate result of defendant's conduct, blah, blah, blah. And seventh cause of action is battery against all defendants. So not only the assault, in this case, would presumably be the threat of harm against him. The battery would be the actually carrying out that harm. That's not gonna, you're not going to manage. The state of Nevada does not batter you. I don't think so. I would have to check to make sure that I'm not wrong here. And because maybe there's case law saying, well, technically, if they're involved in such a way, I don't think you're keeping in mind that battery requires the act to be unlawful in the first place, or without lawful authority. Wow. That might be a problem. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. All right, false arrest and imprisonment against all defendants. Not every defendant was presumably responsible for false imprisonment. I don't think 60 people were responsible. I don't know, but okay. I don't think he does a very good job of explaining it, but we're not going to go over it. Invasion of privacy. That would be an unlawful search. I see. And there's another blank page. That might be his fault, might not be. Searching his belongings without a warrant or other legal justification. Yeah, if you are lawfully under arrest, they can search your property within reason. So they don't need a warrant, by the way, if you are under arrest. They would need a warrant to arrest you unless exigent circumstances apply, to include they watched you commit the crime. You don't need a warrant if, as officers, witnessed you commit the crime. A warrant is not needed. Well, hot pursuit doctrine. That's not 100% correct. It is correct enough for the purposes of this. Weird and complicated stuff comes into play. But, invasion of privacy, blah, blah, blah. To get that, he would have to prove the arrest was unlawful, which I don't believe he's done yet. 10th cause of action, negligence. All right, reasonable care, etc. If he's saying, they failed to step in and help, then okay, he can make the argument. He still has to prove. All of these require him to prove that the arrest was unlawful. I don't believe he has done that yet. And then prayer. It's prayer for damages, prayer for relief. Compensatory damages. Oh my God, $5 million. No. At best, 20,000. At best, I would argue. There are some issues here. Okay, compensatory damages, punitive damage, the amount of $5 million, or amount sufficient to punish. There's probably a statutory limit that says $5 million is too much. It's fine. I don't know. For all applicable statutory penalties for attorney's fees pursuant to 42 U.S.C. Section 1988. So I know California has, and don't ask me how I know. You'll find out in the future. California has case law, 1995, something versus Katz. I don't remember the exact who the plaintiff was. Basically, someone was saying, I am an attorney. I was pro se, and I am trying to claim my legal fees, either what it would have cost to hire me or the amount that I lost out on because I wasn't able to take anyone else's case. And the Supreme Court of California, which is not Nevada, I understand that, but Nevada might have something similar. Federal court case law might have something similar. Nevada or California, I believe, ruling on a constitutional aspect of this was like, no, if you represent yourself, you are not entitled to legal fees. And I think their argument was something about it would create two classes of attorney. And if you apply this presumably to a person who's not an attorney, I see no reason why the argument shouldn't be the same. It's like, well, you didn't incur any fees. Therefore, you're not entitled to those fees. If you paid an attorney to give you advice, great. You still got to prove that. Sure hope it's an attorney that you paid. Otherwise, other things could go wrong. And I think we can assume that he did not pay an attorney based on what he has filed. That's a personal opinion. So, yeah, that might harm him. So, plaintiff hereby demands trial by jury, certificate of interest party, look at the head, signed, etc. This is his signature. And, of course, he has his phone number on there again. I will hide that and obscure it. Although I did a terrible job, I didn't mean to publish it publicly. And then he wants to claim that people harassing him and that certain individuals are giving that phone number out. Buddy, you are giving that phone number out. You've been giving that phone number out since March or April, I want to say. But that's fine. But that's more or less the lawsuit. I skipped a bunch of it. That was just a bunch of nonsense. I really just want to go over the facts of it to what he's claiming to be facts and see what I remember differently. And this is based on memory for the most part. So I can't say for sure that my counters to his claims are accurate. But I'm pretty sure they are. You can feel free to check yourself to see if what I'm saying feels close to the truth. I have no problem with that. But let me check my email, see if I got the thing from the thing. I have not yet, but it may just be taking a sweet time because sometimes it does that. So, hi, chat. We did it within 2 hours. Yes. Don't call him at that number. Do not. Don't do it. Chile asked for $100,000 illegal in the Younes Lafty case. Is that one still going? Also, how could that possibly be $100,000? How can he possibly justify that cost when he is not an attorney and he does not make that kind of money in anything he does, to my knowledge? Oh, it's Artie here? Artie, what are you doing? What's he saying? Is he saying things? Is he doing it? Is he talking? Is he in my participant list? He is. Hi, Artie. I have something for you.
Hello, Artie. It's good to have you here. Something Japanese. I don't know the language.
Now you want Russian? I'll whisper sweet nothings in Russian. I'll do it as Morgan Freeman ish.
Italy, велосипед. Это Костя. 50. Генделов. Да.
Just absolute nonsense. Just absolute nonsense. All right. How do I... no. What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? Oh, I've broken everything. Okay. Oh, there we go. There's the button. Anyway. Top Gun says, Blue, I'm on a moose looking at a goose drinking marple. I think you mean maple. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say maple syrup. Canada says, hi. Oh, I'm about to be very offensive right now, eh? Hello there, Canada. It's good to be talking to you about all of this, eh? Up there in the Great White North. Although it's getting warmer out there, it's going to be a little Great White and Green North. Good place. Nice place. Very cold. Lovely people, if you're in the right place of it, part of it. Good syrup, I tell you. You know. Quebec is fine, except for the people. Never been to Vancouver, but one of these days, I think I will. Niagara Falls, great place to go. Very touristy, but it's got some good not touristy stuff. If you're into that, it has a, so I've been there a couple of times. The Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. Never been to one. Always kind of wanted to go. But I used to have a lot of the books as a kid. And so when I was at Niagara, I'm like, man, I should go there, but I was a kid and I had no say in it. So one of these days, maybe I'll go and go to a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. I think that'd be fun. Anyway, let's stop being offensive now. How bad was it? Good people, except Quebec. Nobody here sounds or talks like that. That's why it's offensive. I'm sorry. Vancouver's like Seattle, but nice. I hear good things. It's good for filming because it's cheap to film there. So a lot of places will film there and pretend to be other cities. That's my understanding. Don't go to the American side of Niagara, worse than Detroit. No, well, see, yeah. I didn't have any problems, but probably because I didn't go to the museum. Oscar Sorens. Thank you so much. Your donation says, "Hi, Chili. I'll be on the Rolling Smoke parking lot tonight at 6 p.m. Come serve me." I doubt that's the real person. However, I assume if you were serving police officers, you could just serve the department. That would be my guess. I've never had to. I've never attempted. But Peter Vanderville says, France is a beautiful country, if not for all of them damn rude French. I enjoyed France. I did. I didn't go to the countryside. I was in Paris. I'd love to go to the countryside. I really want to go to like Omaha, Normandy Beach, that sort of area. I hear they're very lovely there. Paris people go to Paris like, oh, it's going to be wonderful. They're going to be so excited to have me there. They don't care. I don't think they're necessarily super rude. It's that they don't care about you. It's like if you go to New York and you're like, I'm going to go do New York things. And like the people who live in New York, like, hey, get out of here. Like, get out of the sidewalk. Get off the crosswalk. Hey, James, what's his face with his dancing on the sidewalk or the crosswalk thing? Like, get out of here. We're trying to go to work or something. I'm off to get some pizza. Forget about it. I'm part Italian. I'm allowed to be that kind of offensive, and I've lived in New York, so it's that one is okay. Probably not. Like I just assume it's a similar mentality where like Paris is like, oh my god, get out of! I don't want to point you to the croissants. Just go to a boulangerie. Is boulangerie bakery or is that something else? I don't remember much French. Sacré bleu, qu'est-ce que c'est les idiots? You know, just like I'd be upset too if I live in that city. I would know, one, that it's not like, wow, it's such a dreamy city. It's a city. It's gross. And it's got some really cool historical stuff. But it's a city, so it's gross. Not that all cities are gross. It's just Paris is a city that does not exceed any grossness standard and doesn't strike me as like, wow, this is such a clean city. It's a city. That's Madrid. Madrid's a very fun city. It was when I went. A lot of graffiti in Spain. I was shocked by the amount of graffiti. But Madrid is very fun. Some of the okay, now we're gonna get into cities around the world. Street performer wise, Madrid had the best street performers. This was a while ago, so it may have changed. Paris was very beautiful, very fun historically. A lot of really cool stuff. Prague, I think I would say, is the most beautiful city I've ever been to in my life. Yeah, a lot of really great history there too. New York's very fun if you have a local to take you around. I mean, there's so much in New York. There's Broadway. I love Broadway. Broadway is great. But there's so much about New York that's like the smaller things. That's like, oh, interesting. And you'll have, someone to guide you around. It can be dangerous, but, it's gotten better. Seattle is Seattle. Seattle's a city. There's some stuff. Like Pike's Place is cool, I guess. But it's a pretty small city, like area-wise. Some great stuff there. Food is good, but it's gotten very, very expensive. You want good food in Washington. If you want Seattle, so Seattle's like the food city, right? You want Seattle quality food without Seattle prices, go to the east side of the state and go to, oh boy, what is it? Spokane. Spokane has amazing food. It is near a lot of farmland. Oregon also, sort of the same thing. It's like there are some remote parts of Oregon that are like the food is incredible because it's next to farms. But Spokane is close to farms. They have very, very fresh food, and they have a lot of really, really good restaurants. As far as things to do in Spokane, I don't know, but the food is very good, and it's shockingly cheap for the quality. So, just a thought. There's less to do, I would say, in Spokane, but prices on food is good. Vienna, Austria, and the sausage are both awesome. I have not been. I've been to, oh man, Italy is super fun. There's so many good parts of Italy. By the way, speaking of cities I've been to, I've never been to Vienna, but that made me think of Venice. Venice is fun. Venice is a little grungier than I expected, but you know, I'm not too upset about it. It's not as colorful as I would have thought it was, at least not when I was there. And of course it smells. It's on the water. But it is fun. It's a really cool place. If you go, don't skip on, do the boat ride. Pay the $80 or whatever it is. Like, how often you can get there? Yeah, it's way more than it should be. But you're paying for the experience and the stories you get to tell. And you get to now lord that over people at parties and go, oh yeah, I've done the gondola stuff at Venice, whatever. And they go, oh. Because you say, I've been to Venice, and they'll go, did you do the gondola? And you say, no. They'll be like, ha ha, trip to Venice wasted. And you don't want that. Pay the $80, I'm telling you. A lot of really fun palaces all over the place. Germany. Oh, Germany is fun. Let me tell you. There's so much fun stuff. Nuremberg is a very fun city. I got into all sorts of shenanigans in Nuremberg. Nothing too crazy, but I like Nuremberg. Munich is I didn't really explore Munich much. I went to Oktoberfest. Munich is very fun. There's just so much, the architecture, the stuff that survived. The cathedrals. Germany has just so much fun stuff. And I say a lot of good things about Germany because I lived there for 2 years. So there's a lot that I saw and didn't saw but wanted to. I would definitely go back and explore it more. But the problem is, like, there's other places I want to see first. Ireland. Ireland's beautiful. Oh, the people are great. A lot of good history. Food is fun. Oh no. Chili's left Moob. Thank you so much. Says, I'm so sore from the constant jiggling. The emphasis. Officer Sorensen, thank you so much. Says, make sure you roll the windows down so it's not too warm for Charlie. I appreciate that. But yeah, Bulgaria. Oh, Bulgaria would be fun. I'll tell you what, when I was talking about Prague in Czech Republic. The Osek. Is it Osek? There's a place, it's by train. It's like an hour and a half away. The Sedlec Osu area. I don't know if they still allow tourism there. It's a church, a fairly small church that I believe around Crusades, possibly not Crusades, someone went to the Holy Lands, brought back dirt, sprinkled over the graveyard. And the idea was if you got buried in this graveyard, you would automatically go to heaven because you were buried on soil from the Holy Lands where Jesus walked and lived and did his things. And so the graveyard filled up quite a bit. Very, very popular. And it's still very, very, graveyards just stacked up. Also, graveyards. Prague, some of the graveyards, the Jewish cemetery, they're like stacked up on top. It's nuts. Sorry, graveyards are very fun to me. I think they're just a fascinating thing to have a graveyard within a city. And then Paris, of course, the catacombs. And there's just a lot of fun things about graveyards, weirdly. Just like the history of them and how you have to manage them within a confined city. Outside of a city, inside of a city, it's just like, there's just so much weird things that you got to think about as far as how you do graveyards. But Seneca Ossuary, so they had too much. I think there was some invasion, some war that happened, sort of destroyed the area, and they brought in some artist to take all the bones and organize them into things. So you have like underneath the church, you have bone chandeliers, and you have piles of skulls, and you have the artist's family crest in bones, and it's just like a tiny little catacombs, like the Paris catacombs. I'm just always fascinated by this. And bringing it back full circle, because that's just how we do. It was a place that was listed in one of the Ripley's Believe It or Not books, and so as a kid, I'm like, man, that'd be so cool to see. And then I got the opportunity to do it. Oh, you better believe I went. And yeah, Prague also pretty cheap city. Outside of Prague, mind-bogglingly cheap. Everything. I mean, outside of Prague, it looks pretty rough. The places, like what I saw traveling, which is pretty limited. But Prague, beautiful city. Outside of Prague, it looks like the wall just fell. And it's 1994, and people are struggling. But things are very cheap, which is great. Mexico is tons of fun as well. Certain parts of it, not all parts of it. But I didn't really do much city stuff in Mexico. I would love to. I'd love to go to Mexico City and check out all the history there. But the best part of Chicago is the sign that says now entering Indiana. Oh, no. Rochester, New York, lived there. There's about 2 blocks that are worth mentioning. No, a lot of the places that I liked are closed because it was a while ago. Although the plates, people were taught. There was someone in New York who was talking about the garbage plates, and I had to pretend that I didn't live in New York, in Rochester, because I was still trying to protect who I was and family and all that, and be like, yes, I've had those. There is a restaurant that does them here in Seattle, but they do them too fancy. It's just like, this isn't the same. But Rochester, if you're in Rochester, New York, get a garbage plate. They are so much fun. Go to Mark's Texas Hots. Don't go to the other one, the one that like was the origin. They're okay. They're fine. But if Mark's Texas Hots is still a thing, we're checking it. That's the better one, in my opinion. We would go there at 2 in the morning, college, late night studying. Go there at 2 in the morning because all the bars would be closing down. You get to see all the weird people going in for their meal at 2 in the morning. Oh, it was so fun. Also, their water was weirdly good. I don't know why. We actually brought some home, and some of the guys on my floor like tested it to see what was going on with it. I don't know. It was a weird time. We did what we wanted. Mark's Texas Hots. Oh, shooting. I'm sorry, what? It is still open. Man convicted in a homicide outside Mark's Texas Hots, 2016. 487 Monroe Avenue, Rochester, New York. Is this the place? Let me see the photos. They had a bouncer. It was like a 400-pound man with just like face tattooed. Very nice guy. But like, if you were trying to do the wrong thing and he decided to stop you, you wouldn't be able to move him. He would just sit there and be all intimidating. Very, very friendly guy. Oh, yes, this is it. Fond memories. I think this is the same one. There were 2 that I knew of. There's one that was like just a bar, and there's one that was actually a sit-down restaurant. Yeah, 487 Monroe Avenue. If you are in Rochester, you end up in Rochester. 487 Monroe Avenue, Mark's Texas Hots. Get a garbage plate. Lens Brewer says, I grew up near Saggy Bottom. British name phrases are great. You're not wrong. Keith Newton says, I've never been to Spain, but I kind of like the music. Say that the ladies are insane there, and they sure know how to use it. I wouldn't know. I was a little too young for that. But Spain has some very fun stuff. It's very different than America. With like indoor smoking, a lot of meat shops. I remember very vividly being like, going for a sandwich, and you go into a sandwich and then a deli, and it's just like all this meat hanging and curing. And that's a very unusual thing. You don't see that much in America, at least the parts of America I've been to. But everyone's smoking indoors. You're like, you're just curing it with other people's cigarette smoke, which is fine if that's what you're into. Some great street performance. That's really the thing that struck me the most about Madrid. And then Toledo is a lot of fun. Just some great history in Spain. And then if you do go to Mexico, if you get the chance to go to Xcaret, go. And I doubted it. People are like, if you go, you have to see their evening show. And I'm like, it's like the history of Mexico. Yeah. I went, and I regret not getting a better seat, but God, it didn't really matter that much. I was skeptical. And if you are also skeptical, if you find yourself near Xcaret in Mexico, go there. Go to that show. It is nuts. It's nuts. It's so good. One of the crap, Chester. You're right. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. Best live performance I've ever seen in my life. Manchester area of that New England state? Oh. I see. One of my roommates was off a crack crossing Monroe once. That doesn't shock me. I used to deliver pizzas there in Rochester. Looking back at it now, I'm shocked I didn't come to harm. Absolutely shocked. I missed some super chats, though. Yeah, I did, yes. Chili's Last Move, thank you so much. Says, at least I'm bigger than my brother to the right. Stephen Woolley, thank you so much for subscribing, by the way. And Chili's Last Move, thank you so much. Says, no more chunky peanut butter on me, just smooth. Charlie likes, okay. Lens Brewer says, could Cormac please do a birthday song for his number 1 fan? Judy, please. I could. Judy, I'm doing it. Bear with me for a second here. Cormac? Here, hold on. Coming out. Seriously? Yeah, thanks. You ready?
I'm here to say special somebody's birthday. For those of you who are not familiar with these streams, welcome. They get a little weird at the end. And sometimes I do this because people want it. For the record, they asked me to do it. I didn't volunteer it. Anyway, you okay?
I'm good.
Shut the hell up, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
All right. So it's Judy's. Apparently, it's Judy's birthday, and we're gonna sing happy birthday, even if it's not her birthday, because it was asked for me to do it. I see it, Riz. No, I'll get to it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Judy. Happy birthday to you. Where's the camera? It's over here. That's to you. And many more.
Anyway, so that happened. So it gets weird. I missed another super chat. Sorry, I just screamed on the microphone. 50 Patrol. Sorry. Has super chat, and thank you so much for doing so. Glad to catch an afternoon Blue Bacon live stream. Well, it's good to have you here, 50 Patrol. I'm glad you could catch it. Thank you so much. And all right, I'll sing happy. Cormit will sing happy birthday to all of you. You ready, Cormit?
Yeah, okay. Bunch of grifters. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everybody. Happy birthday to you.
Mwah! Okay. There you go. I've got all of you been covered now. Everybody's had their birthday wish, unless you're German, in which case, if not, wish you a happy birthday early. That's bad luck. All right, did I miss any other super chats? Oh. I'm about to get out of here. Erica, RIT, that's right. Good school. But I was struggling with the idea that I'd had to sit behind a desk for the rest of my life, and I needed some action adventure. So I joined the Army, and I mean, there are many reasons I joined the military, but one of them was like, I need some adventure. I'm young, I'm dumb. Both these things were true, and then they put me behind a desk. I got some adventure, but you're going straight into investigations, which is very uncommon. And then I was like, oh no, a desk with paperwork. Turns out I loved it, so it's fine. Hey, Arisen, well, remind me afterwards, and I'll wish you happy birthday. You didn't get you kissed a frog, didn't get a prince. Who am I? Who am I to you? That's a joke. Anyway. Goldberg says, RIT, great school, super depressing campus. Yes, I do miss the tunnels with all the I'd forgotten about those. I recently was reminded of them, all the murals, but they don't connect. Okay, so RIT, biggish campus, bigger than some, smaller than others, but the dorms are all connected by tunnels, and then the academic side with all the classrooms connected by tunnels, all the buildings. But those two groups of tunnels do not connect because I guess the school was like, well, you got to go outside sometimes. If we just connected everything by tunnels, nobody would ever go outside, which is true for two reasons. One, it gets very cold in Rochester, New York in the winters. And the campus, either intentionally or by design, unintentionally or by design, funnels the wind in a way that just huge gusts of wind. To the point where, and this is one of the best things about the wind, you'd see the art students with their big old things that would hold their art. I was going to say portfolios, maybe. Or portfolio document holders, whatever. They would be on their longboards, using them as sails, which is hilarious. But yeah, that's one issue. The second is the smell of the trees. If you've been to RIT in spring, summer, or maybe fall, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I will not elaborate. But that's the second issue. Mistakes were made. Am I still doing live on Friday? I still plan to. I cannot promise it. Something may have come up. I have to check, though. So. But yes. Goldfish, that's what I heard. I didn't want to say because I don't know if it's true. But yeah, I heard it was the campus was based off a school in Arizona that was designed to follow the wind to keep it cool. That is exactly what I remember hearing. I just never knew if it was actually true. I'm glad that this wasn't just something told to me as a joke to see how gullible I am. Unless you are also part of the conspiracy. Icebite, thanks so much. Let's check out the RISD mascot. Oh, by the way, I'm not saying I don't appreciate the Bengals as a sports team, but when I wore this shirt, it was the last stream 4 or something, that had a tiger on it. People were like, oh, I knew I liked you because you're a Bengals fan. I'm not saying I'm not. That's an RIT shirt. I know. Oh, but that's not the first person by any means to think that it was a Bengals thing. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, that's a terrible mascot. Oh, that's the unofficial name. I see. Oh no! Oh no! I'm gonna let you guys find it for yourself. Oh no! Oh, the team names. I love it. I love it. Oh boy. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for joining me on this weird Tuesday in a weird time. Maybe the first person to believe the Bengals have fans, though. Anyway, I hope to see you guys again soon. Hopefully this week, if not, definitely later. And I will have to keep working on my 20,000 subscriber thank you video. If you haven't seen my thank you videos before, I believe I did a 15,001. It's very, very good. It's modern sovereign citizen, modern major general parody. I remember the exact title of it. That might have been pretty close to it. But that's a pretty solid video. I'm a big fan of that video. So, with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. Until the next time, sorry, just checking the chat real quick. Be good. Stay safe.